Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Nancy Brown, the Dean of Yale School of Medicine, and it is my honor to welcome you, family, friends, faculty, and the Yale School of Medicine class of 2025 to this year's White Coat ceremony. Class of 2025, although your families are not physically under this tent, they are here with you, some closer than others. And I would like to welcome all the families who are watching virtually or otherwise, and to thank you. For most of the class of 2025, your families are the reason that you are here. They have instilled in you a love of education and science and qualities of compassion and empathy that have led you to choose the profession of medicine. They have nurtured you, encouraged your aspirations, challenged you to reach higher, and supported you when the reach seemed impossible. Many have immigrated or worked long hours to make it possible for you to be here. 14 of you are the first in your families to achieve a college education. Your families represent cultures from across the country and the world. 27 of you were born outside the US in 19 different countries. You graduated from 56 undergraduate colleges. The 104 of you were selected from among more than 6,200 applicants to Yale School of Medicine. These are the numbers or the vital statistics, and over the coming months and years, I look forward to getting to know each of you, not as a number, but as people. I encourage you to take the time to learn each other's stories. As you embark on this profession of medicine, it is important that we pause today to reflect on the commitment you are making. In a short while, you will don a white coat. In the latter part of the 19th and the early 20th century, the white coat came to symbolize the importance of science in medicine. The white coat has also come to symbolize professionalism and humanitarian ideals. At the end of this ceremony, you will recite a human relations code of conduct, stating your commitment as members of this community to foster the growth, well-being, and dignity of all. Please also read the policy on medical student professionalism. When you graduate, you will recite a physician's oath, a commitment to respect for persons, acknowledging the dignity of the individual patient is fundamental to our profession and supersedes all other ideologies. Just as you learn each other's stories, learn the stories of your patients so that you will always see them as individuals. Curiosity is the element common to the scientific and the humanistic groundworks of medicine symbolized by the white coat. During your medical career, you will come to understand that the best way to care for the human beings who are your patients is to learn the basic mechanisms of disease and to discover those mechanisms when we are only dealing with assumptions. You will learn that the best of intentions without knowledge can cause harm. And conversely, you will better understand that science and medicine practiced without regard for medical ethics underlies some of the most heinous events of the 20th and 21st centuries. The Yale system of medical education offers an amazing environment in which you can hone your curiosity. The fundamental element of the system is the concept that medical students, you, are mature individuals motivated to learn, requiring guidance and stimulation rather than compulsion or competition for relative standing in a group. As a student in the Yale system, you may learn from the Nobel laureate or the Howard Hughes investigator down the hall, the master clinician in the hospital, the health advisor to the President of the United States or to the governor, the scholar of literature or history across campus, from your patients and from each other. Learning in this way is not easy, but through the process you will learn how to learn and how to apply concepts to new problems, to the new diseases you will see, to the application of new diagnostic tools or novel therapies throughout your careers. You will also discover joy in learning and caring for your patients. Our commitment to you today is that we will set the bar high, but we will help you to reach it. Our commitment is that you are not alone. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me or any of us for advice or guidance. You will teach us and bring us great joy. It now gives me pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dr. Ehinia Hanau. Dr. Hanau is an associate professor in the Department of Internal Medicine at the Yale School of Medicine, where she's been on the faculty for 15 years. For the last 3 years, she has served as the Associate Chair for Diversity and Inclusion in the Department of Medicine and as Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for Graduate Medical Education. For her first 12 years, she was the medical director of the Adult Primary Care Center, where she successfully streamlined the clinical training of medical residents. In her time at Yale, Dr. Hanau has created a new visiting program for underrepresented minority medical students. She's also implemented a project called Teach Doc that educates medical students and residents regarding racial bias and microaggression. Prior to her appointment at Yale, Dr. Hanau was an assistant professor at Emory, where she founded the Department of Multicultural Affairs and the International Medical Center at Grady Memorial Hospital. She is the recipient of various awards, including Yale's Faculty Award for Achievement in Clinical Care, the Community Leadership Award from the Georgia Hospital Association, the Safety Net Award from the National Association of Public Hospitals, and the Health Leadership Award from the National Hispanic Medical Association. Most recently, she received the Connecticut chapter of American College of Physicians Award and the Herbert W. Nickens Minority and Representation in Medicine Award from the Society of General Internal Medicine in recognition of her extraordinary work in diversity, equity, and inclusion. In addition to her medical training at the University of Rochester, Dr. Hanau has completed fellowships in health policy at NYU and in general medicine faculty development at UNC. She continues to care for patients and to teach residents and medical students in both inpatient and outpatient settings. Please welcome Dr. Hanau to the podium for her talk, An MD Made in America.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Now I'm going to take my mask off. I can breathe. So it is an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be standing in front of you, our next generation of clinicians, scientists, educators, and leaders. Welcome to Yale. You know, I don't remember much of my own white coat ceremony, but I definitely had a private one. I remember receiving my white coat in a plastic bag. It was clear. And upon arrival to my apartment, I removed it from the plastic bag and I brought it close to my face and I inhaled deeply. Oh, the smell. It was a smell of plastic and new material. So I didn't like that smell. And I decided that I would wash it, iron it, and fill it up, fill all its pockets with all the resources and recommendations from my upperclassmates. And so in my pockets, I had a manual for differential diagnosis. They believe that I still have it. I also had in my pockets another manual for how to listen to the heart sounds. I also had in my pocket the electrocardiogram, how to read an EKG, all the tips and tricks. But wait, I have more. I have always had this interest on minority health. So I had another pocket for minority health resources. And I have a little bit more. In my pocket, I also carry the tuning forks, because I had to complete a physical diagnosis. But it was not complete in my mind without testing cranial nerve number 1. So I had a vial with cinnamon, and I was ready. I was ready to be the best doctor I can be. So I was definitely ready to conquer medicine. And patients would call me student doctor. Or sometimes they call me doctor, forcing me to correct them. Initially, I felt that the white coat gave me permission for the intrusive questions and physical exams I performed on my patients. As I acquired a little bit more knowledge, I felt I contributed to my patients' care, and the white coat took more of a symbolic meaning. But you know that for some of us, the white coat is part of our identity as physicians, keeps us warm, and becomes an extension of storage of our knowledge. Just make sure that you wash it from time to time, because it does become dirty. So, I am so thrilled to see so many beautiful faces in masks. I may not recognize you later on, but let me share with you 4 Yale truths. 4. Number 1, you are over 100% qualified to be here. Don't let anyone make you think otherwise, not even for a second. Number 2, we are privileged to have you instead of the other way around. It is a privilege to train the next generation of physicians. Number 3, everyone here is totally committed. They will push you to become the best version of yourself. But keep in mind that no one will be dragging you. You will be in the driver's seat. And number 4, Yale is not, and I repeat, Yale is not free of bias, microaggression, stereotype, racism, and any other isms. This is not because it is Yale. This is not because it is the United States. It is because it is the world that we live in, the reality. But it is because it is Yale that we are hard at work towards an environment free of any type of discrimination, an environment of inclusivity and belonging where you can speak up, and an environment where you feel supported and can shine irrespective of your many identities. This is because it is Yale. Now I have 5 Dr. Henao advice. Are you taking notes? I don't see anybody taking notes. Okay, I think you'll remember. The first one is to believe in yourself. Have it within you to reach your full potential. Number 2, don't compare yourself to other people. If there is a competition, that competition is within yourself. Number 3, ask for help and ask early. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. Number 4, be patient with yourself. You're here to learn, and there will be mistakes. Those mistakes will be a way to reach your goals. And number 5, make meaningful and genuine connections. One way is through the power of storytelling, because all of us have a story to tell. Think about challenges you have faced, transitions or defining moments that you have had. Sharing your story may make you feel vulnerable, and that is okay. Take a chance. So let me share with you part of my story. And yes, I'll be very vulnerable, but it's in the spirit of making that connection. I come from poverty. But let me explain what poverty meant for me. I grew up in a small town in the Dominican Republic. My underwear were made by my mother out of old clothing. And many times I had to walk with one hand on my hip just to keep it from falling. There were many nights I went to bed hungry, just to wake up and not know where the next meal was going to come from. I suffered from intestinal parasites throughout my entire childhood, and preventable diseases such as measles almost killed me. First my aunt, then my grandmother, then my father, and then my mother immigrated to the United States with a green card. They all worked hard to ensure my siblings and I also obtained the green card. We arrived at the JFK airport on a cool September afternoon. Our excitement of being in the United States of America, reunited with our parents, was stifled by the apartment and the entire building infestation with rats and roaches. Soon the winter fell upon us, and it was brutal, for we did not have the means to dress for it. I learned what gunshots sounded like and frequently feared for my life. On several occasions, both my father and my mother were assaulted at gunpoint in the building that we lived in. My father then started traveling more frequently to the Dominican Republic, and each time it took him longer to come back. Eventually came the legal separation and then the divorce. Oh, there were many nights that we could not sleep and many days of panic. You may be asking yourself, how in the world did I accomplish my dream of becoming a physician? But that's another story to tell. Well, if you cannot wait, you can read for it. You can read it in the Annals of Internal Medicine. Needless to say, that my mother's minimum wage was not enough to make ends meet. My intern salary was the first highest income my household has ever earned. And we considered ourselves rich. In fact, very rich. I hope that by sharing this part of my story, that I have made a deeper connection with all of you. And thank you for having me, and please know that if you ever need me, I am here to help. Thank you.
I really do recommend the article in the Annals. It's really amazing, as you've already gleaned. Thank you. It's now time to present your white coats. Joining me on stage are Jessica Aluzzi, Deputy Dean for Education, Nancy Engoff, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, Servet Chaudhry, Associate Dean for Student Research, Barbara Kazmierzak, Director of the MD PhD program, Darren Lattimore, Deputy Dean for Diversity and Inclusion, and Laura Ment, Associate Dean for Admissions and Financial Aid. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ayaska Fernando, Director of the Office of Admissions, who will introduce the class of 2025. When he calls your name, please rise and come to the stage where a Yale School of Medicine faculty member will help you don your white coat. We will take a photograph together, and then Dr. Amy Liebeskind, the AYAM board president, will give you your stethoscope, a gift of our alumni, before you return to your seats.
Thank you, Dean Brown, and good afternoon, everyone. Class of 2025, as Dean Brown mentioned, here is the plan for officially receiving your white coats. I'll call your names out alphabetically by last name, and when I announce your name, come up stage left for your white coat, then pose for a photograph with Dean Brown, and be sure to look at the camera and smile. After the photograph, you'll be handed your stethoscope donated by the Association of Yale Alumni in Medicine, as is the tradition at Yale. After receiving your stethoscope, continue back to your seat by exiting stage right, so this way. And inside the box, you will also find a thank you note card to the alum who donated your stethoscope. If you wish to write a short note of thanks to the alum, and we highly encourage you to, please do so and drop it off at the Office of Student Affairs and the drop basket on the second floor of Harkness, and it will be mailed out to the alum. Finally, I ask that you hold your applause till all of you have received your white coats, so that we all can then collectively applaud you and recognize you, the YSM class of 2025, in its entirety. That should also allow for a robust and hopefully rousing round of applause. So let's begin. Datri Aberatna from Brown University. Nana Adenu Mensah from Cornell University. Jerry William Allen from Emory University, entering the MD PhD program. James Antonios from University of California, Los Angeles. Serena Applebaum from University of Southern California. Dylan Balter from Johns Hopkins University. Anis Barmada from University of Illinois at Chicago, entering the MD PhD program. Yisak Bedasso from University of Colorado at Denver. Olivia Belliveau from Yale University. Shamik Bhatt from University of Colorado at Denver. Brian Bollinger from Dartmouth College. Suleiman Bozal from University of Connecticut, entering the MD PhD program. Helen Tsai from Yale University. Catherine Callahan from University of Notre Dame. Warren Carter from Colgate University. Cole Cassidy from Boston College. Bridget Chen from Johns Hopkins University, entering the MD PhD program. Samiksha Chopra from University of California, Los Angeles, entering the MD PhD program. Nazir Chaudhry from Yale University. Mona Clapier from Princeton University. Robert Cotter from Florida State University. Kerry Davidson from Princeton University, entering the MD PhD program. Molly Dernberg from Barnard College. Waylay Dawn from City University of New York, Hunter College. Rushab Doshi from Johns Hopkins University. Caroline Eshendia Francis from Washington University in St. Louis. Madeline Ehrenberg from Columbia University. Ahmed El Zamzami from Christopher Newport University. Adelaide Feibel from Yale University. Tiana Fernandez from Brown University. Paula Flores Perez from Boston University. Kyle Gavalik from Vanderbilt University, entering the MD-PhD program. Maximilian Greenwald from Middlebury College, entering the MD-PhD program. Alan Gutierrez from Vassar College. Justice Hansen from University of California, Berkeley. Connor Haynes from University of Virginia. Brian Hilton from Brigham Young University. Joshua Hobbs from Rice University. Christine Hoadlin from St. John's University. Suyeon Hong from Yale University. Jacob Howard from University of Central Florida. Hale Yeager from Yale University. Christina Jairaj from University of Miami. Rahul Jayaram from Brown University. Andrew Johnson from University of California, Davis. Daniel Joven from Temple University, entering the MD-PhD program. Saeed Jagan from Dartmouth College, entering the MD-PhD program. Kyung-Suk Jung from University of Texas at Austin. Morgan Kane from Yale University. Martha Kebe from Harvard University. Emily Kessler from Wesleyan University, entering the MD-PhD program. Jaspreet Kohli from Cornell University, entering the MD-PhD program. Lamley Lawson from Washington University in St. Louis. Yona Lei from Syracuse University, entering the MD-PhD program. Ariel Levine from University of Pennsylvania. Judy Lee from Vanderbilt University. Talia Lichtenberg from Lewis and Clark College, entering the MD-PhD program. Christina Liu from Northwestern University. Sarah Locke from Yale University. Richard Lozano from Carnegie Mellon University. Rachel Lutz from University of Oregon. Raphael Marek from University of Southern California. Katrina Madsen from University of California, Berkeley. Forrest Mahoney from Arcadia University. Sarah Mahoney from Emory University, entering the MD-PhD program. Gwyneth Malloy from Williams College. Jack McCarthy from Johns Hopkins University. Madeline McNamara from Santa Clara University. Ann Mensinger from Harvard University. Sophia Miguez from University of Pennsylvania. Ryland Mortlock from University of Southern California, entering the MD PhD program. Max Moss from Stanford University. Siddhi Nadkarni from Brown University. Hong Wen from Yale University. Michael Nock from Harvard University. Ogene Woma Ogene Sume from University of California, Riverside. Kevin Okifo from University of Connecticut. Neeraj Patel from Yale University. Oscar Perales from Yale University. Zachary Pickel from University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Philip Ratnasamy from Pennsylvania State University. Sabrina Saeed from Brown University. Andrew Schwartz from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Paul Serato from Stanford University. Nisarg Shah from University of California, Los Angeles. Basil Chanot from Northwestern University. Shayon Samani from Duke University. Caitlin Stoer from Vanderbilt University. Lena Surapaneni from Brown University. Laura Swain from University of Chicago. Rosalind Terrazos Moreno from University of Connecticut. Carlisle Topping from Columbia University. Wesley Tong from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, entering the MD-PhD program. Joshua Vogel from Missouri State University. Grace Wong from University of Washington. Sarah Wilkins from Yale University. Micah Williams from Johns Hopkins University. Aster Workene from Texas A&M University. Corey Wu from Yale University. Kane Wu from Cornell University. Samuel Yoon from University of Pennsylvania. Matthew Yuen from Dartmouth College, entering the MD-PhD program. Elizabeth Zhang from Yale University, entering the MD-PhD program. Diane Zhao from University of California, Los Angeles. Now you have all been exceptionally patient, so please stand and let us all collectively recognize the Yale School of Medicine class of 2025.
So as usual, that was a tour de force. Iasca, well done. And thank you to our deans for wonderful coding. And we're very proud of you. Next, I'd like to introduce Dean Nancy Angoff, our Dean of Students, who will lead you in the Human Relations Code of Conduct.
So earlier today, we discussed the Yale system and what it means to enter this community. And now we're just going to elaborate a little bit more on what it means to enter this community. So if you follow along, you have the Human Relations Code of Conduct in your booklet. Yale School of Medicine is committed to the promotion of personal and professional development of all individuals in its community and encourages dialogue that will foster the growth, well-being, and dignity of all of its members. In pursuit of these goals, the school is dedicated to maintaining an environment that places the highest priority on collegial relationships, mutual respect, and sensitivity among its students, faculty, staff, and patients. An educational community functions best when there is civility and respect for the dignity and worth of each individual. It must be ensured that our school is free from discrimination and acts of intolerance, such as those based on race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, national origin, ancestry, age, or physical handicap. This commitment remains consonant with the obligation to protect open and wide-ranging public discourse. The principle of freedom of expression that might otherwise protect even the most offensive public speech does not protect, nor does it even encompass, a right to threaten the dignity and privacy of an individual. Such personally directed behavior will not be tolerated. It is antithetical to academic values, debilitates its victims, compromises the offenders, and undermines the university's fundamental commitment to individual freedom and respect for all its members. Furthermore, acts of intolerance may destroy the very atmosphere wherein freedom of expression is otherwise tolerated and cherished.
Well, this now brings us to the conclusion of today's White Coat celebration. On behalf of Yale University and Yale School of Medicine, I congratulate our newest class of Yale School of Medicine. I wish you the best in your education, and please know that you will bring much pride, and we will work with you throughout the next 4 years or 5 years. Welcome.
Would you all do me a big favor and stand, please, and help me acknowledge Dean Angoff. Many, many moons ago, Dean Angoff sat in the same chair as you, and she has welcomed 22 classes of medical students over the years. You are her final class. She is retiring this year. Nancy, thank you.
There are lunches below your seats. You are adjourned. You know, it's interesting. It was better last year. It was bad. Yeah.